The Nissan Pathfinder has a reputation as one of the most dependable family SUVs on the market, but there are 7 reasons why that reputation might be costing you. If you're seriously considering one right now, this video could save you from a purchase you'll be second-guessing for years. Most buyers walk into a Pathfinder deal expecting a polished, capable family hauler, but what they're actually getting, from the transmission to the third row to the reliability record, tells a very different story. Stay with us as we break down 7 reasons why you should not buy a Nissan Pathfinder. Number 7. Tight third row. 3 rows of seating is the entire premise of an SUV like this. For most families, it's the single biggest reason they're shopping in this segment at all. Everyone needs a seat, and that assumption starts falling apart the moment you look at what the Pathfinder's third row is actually offering. Most people buying a 3-row SUV are picturing a situation they've already lived through: a family reunion, a carpool, a road trip where someone always ends up in the back. That third row is supposed to be the solution. In the Pathfinder's case, it's only a solution for smaller children. Adults and taller teenagers are going to find it genuinely uncomfortable. Legroom is limited, entry is awkward, and staying seated back there for any extended period is going to wear thin fast. If the third row is only functional for small kids, you're essentially paying for a 3-row SUV that operates like a 2-row most of the time. Rivals like the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade are setting a higher standard, with rear seating that actually works for adult passengers. For families who need that third row to pull real weight, the Pathfinder is going to disappoint. The seating situation is frustrating enough on its own, but it gets worse when you realize the engine powering this family hauler isn't exactly keeping pace with the demands placed on it either. Number 6. Engine could use more power. Under normal conditions, calm highway cruising, light city traffic, the engine is fine. But the moment real demands get placed on it, the picture changes. Think about what it actually means to fully load a family SUV. 7 passengers in every seat, the cargo area stacked with luggage, and a long uphill stretch of interstate ahead. That's not a rare edge case. That's exactly the situation this vehicle is supposed to be built for. But that's precisely where the Pathfinder's engine starts working noticeably hard. The power reserves aren't deep enough to make loaded driving feel effortless, and the strain shows at the moments when you need the engine most. The Toyota Grand Highlander and Hyundai Palisade are offering more modern, more capable powertrains, including hybrid setups that handle real-world demands with far less effort. The Pathfinder isn't keeping pace with that progression, and experienced buyers are going to feel that immediately. A strained engine is already a problem, but it's almost irrelevant once you discover what the gearbox it's connected to is doing to your daily confidence behind the wheel. Number 5. Ride quality. There's a reasonable assumption most buyers bring to a 3-row family SUV. If it's not sporty, it should at least be comfortable. The Pathfinder is going to challenge that assumption quickly. You're 3 hours into a drive with the whole family on board, the kids are restless, and every patch of rough asphalt is announcing itself through the seats. That's not a peaceful drive. It's a draining one. The Pathfinder's suspension tuning is landing in an awkward middle ground. It's not engaging enough to be called dynamic, and not soft enough to be genuinely comfortable. Impacts from potholes and road irregularities are transmitted into the cabin more firmly than they should be. The Kia Telluride and the Honda Pilot have both been consistently praised for ride refinement that genuinely isolates passengers from road imperfections. The Pathfinder hasn't matched that level of polish, and it shows on any drive longer than a short commute. In a segment built around family travel, a harsh ride isn't a quirk, it's a deal breaker. A rough ride is one thing, but what's coming up next isn't so easy to ignore because it's happening every single time you press the accelerator. Number 4. Transmission. Day-to-day ownership impressions are shaped more by the gearbox than almost anything else, and the Pathfinder's 9-speed automatic is developing a reputation that buyers should be paying attention to. The issues are most noticeable during uphill driving and hard acceleration. When the transmission is hunting for the right gear on a grade, the hesitation is clear. Under hard acceleration from a stop or in the mid-range, the shifts can feel rough and unrefined. Not the seamless behavior you'd expect from a vehicle in this price range. Picture merging onto a busy highway with 7 people on board. You need a confident, immediate response, not hesitation, not a clunky downshift that leaves you wondering if you have enough gap. That's the kind of moment where a rough, searching gearbox stops being an annoyance and starts affecting how safe and in control you feel. These aren't rare complaints. They're showing up consistently in long-term ownership accounts. Transmission behavior is something you're going to experience every single day. And if you think the running costs look reasonable on paper right now, wait until you see what happens at the fuel pump every single week. Number 3. Fuel economy. The Pathfinder is returning 21 to 23 miles per gallon combined, and against gas-only rivals, that number holds up. But the conversation in this segment has moved on, and that's exactly where the Pathfinder is getting left behind. Most families driving a vehicle like this are covering serious miles every week. School runs, weekend trips, errands, commutes. Over the course of a full year, the difference between 22 miles per gallon and a hybrid-powered 35 miles per gallon is going to show up clearly at the pump repeatedly. That's not an abstract efficiency stat, it's money leaving your account every single week. The Toyota Grand Highlander offers a hybrid variant that pushes well past what the Pathfinder can match. Competitors are giving buyers the choice to spend less on fuel, and the Pathfinder isn't giving that choice at all. In a segment where hybrid technology is becoming standard rather than special, offering no electrified option is a limitation that becomes harder to overlook every year. Poor fuel economy hurts the wallet gradually, but the next issue has the potential to hit your budget all at once, in a single, very inconvenient moment. Number 2. Towing requirements. On paper, the Pathfinder is advertising a maximum towing capacity of 6,000 pounds, a genuinely capable number for this class. But there's a condition attached to that figure that too many buyers are missing entirely. Reaching 6,000 pounds requires the Pathfinder to be equipped with a specific towing cooling package. Without that equipment, the capacity drops to 3,500 pounds. Imagine choosing the Pathfinder specifically because 6,000 pounds covers your boat or travel trailer, and then discovering your trim doesn't include the required cooling hardware. Your real towing ceiling just got nearly cut in half. That's not a footnote. That's a fundamental change to what the vehicle can do for you. On the Pathfinder, the fine print matters, and it can completely change what this vehicle is actually able to deliver. The towing situation is a purchasing trap, but what's sitting at number 1 is something that can follow you long after the purchase is done and the warranty has expired. Number 1, reliability concerns. This is the point on this list that overrides every other consideration. Reliability concerns are surfacing around the Pathfinder in areas that no buyer investing $40,000+ should be dealing with. The transmission is appearing in ownership reports for hesitation, rough shifting, and inconsistent response. Think about what it means to own a vehicle you can't fully trust on a long family drive. You're hundreds of miles from home, the kids are in the back, and your SUV is behaving unpredictably. A gearbox showing those symptoms puts stress on drivetrain components in ways that can translate into serious, expensive repairs. Electrical system issues are adding to the picture. Unexpected warning lights, infotainment screen freezing, and unpredictable system glitches are generating enough reports to take seriously. A navigation screen locking up mid-trip isn't a minor inconvenience. It's a sign of integration problems that affect daily use and confidence in the vehicle. When an SUV is carrying your family every day, reliability is not a bonus feature. It's the foundation of every purchase decision. In a segment this competitive, with alternatives like the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade setting a much higher standard, those questions deserve honest answers before you sign anything. The Nissan Pathfinder isn't a bad vehicle, but it doesn't have to just be not bad. A cramped third row, a ride that never quite settles, a 9-speed with a hesitation problem, no hybrid option, conditional towing capacity, and a reliability record raising legitimate questions. That's a long list of compromises for a segment where stronger alternatives exist at every price point. So before you sign, make sure the vehicle you're buying is actually earning its price. Because in this segment right now, the Pathfinder is facing competition it simply hasn't answered. The main problem with Nissan's 3-row SUVs is that rivals are getting better and better. The Kia Telluride is coming completely redesigned, and you can check it out in our next video. With improved look, improved passenger space, new powertrain options, and a cabin more luxurious than ever before, the next generation shows clear pretensions to become a class leader.